Alright, welcome back everyone. Some more Vintage Cube from my hand. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see if we can get more wins than last time. That wasn't pretty. I felt like I had a great Reanimator deck, but yeah, it didn't really play out that great. However, we start this draft with a Mox Pearl, so there's no time to be sad about what happened last time. Second best card in the pack is probably something like Inti. I love that card. I'm getting kind of confused about these old frame Shocklands, because when I glance over the pack, it looks like, oh, there's a Verdant, and there's a Windswept Heath, but those are Shocks. What are we passing here of, like, premier cards? Nothing, I guess, outside of Inti. I think that card is awesome in every deck with the red mana, basically. Hymn is hard to cast, but great. So with Mox Pearl, we can go anywhere. Let's see where that is. So it's tempting to go Mother of Runes. Mother of Runes is very good in white aggro. Mox Pearl is obviously at its best in that deck. What other cards do we have here? We have Fetch Land, which is awesome. We have Mana Leak, which is awesome. I think for me it's between Mother of Runes, Bloodstained Mire, Mana Leak. I'm gonna go Mana Leak. It's pretty tempting because people are incentivized to go for broken stuff, and saying no to broken stuff is very, very good. So yeah, I'll try with the Mana Leak. Sometimes blue is just not open, and that's just how it is. Okay, we can follow up Mana Leak rather with Remand. That's kind of cool. So let's say I went Mother of Runes. That would be kind of sad now. Let's say I went Bloodstained Mire. I would probably go for something like, yeah, maybe even still Remand, or one of the lands that pairs with Bloodstained. I'm not sure. Something weird happened there with the clicking, but we got the card we wanted. That's the most important thing. Great start here, Mox, and 2 interactive spells. I like this start. So with your Mox being white, let's say there are 2 very comparable, like a red and a white card, then this Mox is kind of the tiebreaker. Okay, so we can stay on color and go Sheldag Isle, or I can dip into another color. I think Sheldag is good enough to just stay here and chill. I don't mind Adeline. I think that's better than Gideon. And Underworld Breach. I'm not a big Breach fan. I'll take it if, I'm not giving up a whole lot, but I think it's mostly like speculating. Let's say I get like next pick Brain Freeze, then I'll take that card, and then all of a sudden the Breach becomes good, but I'm not just gonna speculate on the Breach out of nowhere when I have a good card to take. So out of a bad pack, I'll consider it. Or if I already have the Brain Freeze, of course, it's high pick. Yeah, the 5th pick Palace Jailer is good. And we have the Pearl. I would love to play blue-white. Treasury is decent. Stoneforge is decent. But yeah, most of all, it's a good sign for white. So with Palace Jailer, it's very important that I have a bunch of 1/2/3s that either are creatures and get onto the board, or stuff that interacts with, because going Palace Jailer, like, you can't be that far behind when you play Palace Jailer. It kind of needs to be an even game. Sometimes it's okay to be a bit behind, but the plan with Palace Jailer and keeping the Monarch is basically keeping staying ahead on board, I would say. Or even, because even stuff like chump blocks and traits, that's just so strong when you're already the Monarch. So this gives us pretty good direction. Blue-white. And we want cheap interaction, especially because of Jailer, right? But we want a cheap interaction anyway, so it doesn't change that much. So I guess with the Jailer, the most optimal thing is to be a bit of like aggro control, so I also have creatures myself. Let's see if we can make that happen. Let's see if we're drafting against any known quantities here. I don't recognize any of these names. Okay, another great pack. So it looks like we're the right colors. I think this is a time where I take Mana Fixing, even though these 2 white cards are good, right? So I take Hallowed Fountain here because most likely I'm gonna support like Counterspell, Mana Drain, Palace Jailer, stuff like that. And if white is open, we can easily fill out the deck. So very nice Hallowed Fountain there. And as I say that, we don't get the best pack passed to us here. So it's either... probably I'm going to go for Flick-O-Wisp here. Is that bad? I think Flick-O-Wisp is pretty decent, especially with Jailer. Winds of Abandon can be very good. I think I prefer Flick-O-Wisp between the two. And here's an Adversary. Pretty good pack here. Atali, Creeping Tar Pit, even like good black cards. Let's take Adversary. Okay, and I'll just take a Hellblade here. I don't mind that card. If we can be like blue-white aggro control, playing creatures on turn like 1 and 2, 3, that's also a way to interact with the board. It doesn't have to be, you know, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Mana Leak. But yeah, blue-white aggro control should be cool. Let's see if we can wheel some of the white cards. Then we're in really, really great shape. Then we might even be like splashing at that point. I'm not a big Wayfarer fan. I do like Elite Spellbinder though. Let's take that. I believe there's one more good white card I can wheel. I just can't remember which. Oh, it was the Adeline pack. So it was like Adeline and Gideon, something along those lines. There's also Mother of Runes somewhere, but not here. Okay, let's take Vendilion Click. Because if I take Souls, I think the black splash is going to be as hard as double blue. And the cards are very comparable, I would say. Okay, so Adeline is gone. But we do take the Gideon. And Mother of Runes is gone. So that's the good thing about being two colors. Because now somebody else jumped into white, and that's fine. We are perfectly fine filling up our deck with some blue cards as well. Woohoo! 14th pick, Aspirant. That is very, very strong. I like this card a lot. Some people even have it as like top, I don't know, top 3, top 5 white cards. Yeah, I like it. What do we have here? We have a Teferi. I like Teferi a lot. Traxa's probably not going to be for us. Selfless Spirit is replaceable 2-drop, I would say. Teferi is a very good curve topper. I don't think my blue cone is going to be high enough for subtlety. I'm going to take Teferi here. I also like Fire Ice, but I mean, in this deck it's like whatever, but I like it in general. What else are we passing up here? Atraxa for reanimation, sneaky stuff. Triplicate Titan for flash. Sneaky stuff, some burn card, mono green card, good green haymaker. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Okay, another great pack here. I looked at Teferi at first, but I think I'm supposed to take Reprieve. Reprieve is just, if you get on the border with creatures and you counter your opponent's, what do I know, 4-drop, 5-drop, whatever, then this card just becomes the White Time Walk. I like that a lot. Let's take the Reprieve. I have a bunch of counters in this deck. Nice and Tomb, but I'm going to take the Portable Hole. It's not very, you know, it's not going to make the headlines, but it's just a fine card. Great pack, like Jason's Prodigy and Tomb, Seal. Bunch of good cards. We have some white creatures here. I think ideally I don't play Click, and I tilt my mana a lot towards white, in which case Jace is not, you know, not insane or anything. I think I'm going to go for Commando. I like that card. 3-power flash creature, the Disenchants. What I really want is like 1-drops, Figure of Destiny, Student of Warfare, Usher the Fallen. Let's see, what else could it be? Giver of Runes. I like that cheap stuff. Okay, so here, Council's Judgment, that's just one of the, like, it's just clean-cut removal, like, kill your True Name, kill your Kappa Cannoneer, kill your Planeswalker. No questions asked. Playing, like, white splash, couple of counters, and Teferi, I like that archetype a lot. I think that's very, very strong. But yeah, having a play turn 1 is gonna make this deck a lot better. So let's see if we can get there. I'm sad that the Mother of Runes went, but I'm sure I took a good card over it. Mana Leak, yeah. That's how it is. At the time, it was definitely right. Right now, it's very close, now that I actually ended up in white. I think taking Mana League there was just, yeah, that was just better, right? With the information we had at the time. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. It's a beautiful day to play some Cube. I'm happy that you decided to spend it in my company. Okay, I like Wandering Emperor. And the other cards are bricks, unless I want to speculate on a splash. But since I didn't pick up the Lingering Souls, I do have a Tight Hollow Scholar on my sideboard, but there's pretty long way. I need, like, in order to support that card, since it's an early drop, I need like 5 sources of black, so it's better to just take a good white card. Here's a Thalia, but there's also a Tundra. Oh, yeah, I'm actually going to take the Tundra here. The fewer islands I can play in this deck, the better. Thalia is good, but Cavalier, I don't like that addition. It's a good grindy card, but let's see how that card plays out. I have my money on that it'll get removed for the next iteration, or whatever that's worth. Okay, Memory Lapse, also awesome. Like we have a very strong aggro control deck here. Tidebinder I like as well, but 2 mana counters in a creature deck. That's just like bread and butter. Play a creature, delay your opponent's game plan twice, and they're dead. So now we have 4 2 mana counters. Kind of nasty. So maybe here I take Subtlety, have it in my sideboard, unless weird things happen. Stern Scolding is also a good sideboard card. I love it in, let's say, blue-white control or blue-black control. I love it in the main deck, but I think for this deck, it's a sideboard card. Now I have Stern Scolding, Click, and Subtlety as sideboard options in case I really need to disrupt. Pretty sick. Okay, since we're playing a league, we don't have to hate pick. If we weren't playing a league, I think I would take Imperial Seal as the best hate pick. Excuse me. Yeah, this is looking great. So right now I have 16 playables with 4 good mana sources. I'm on track. I'm on track and then some, I would say. I really like the fact that I could bolster my mana with Tundra and Hello Fountain. I picked them over actual playable cards for the deck, so obviously it comes with some kind of cost, but I think casting your spells is just bread and butter. Let's imagine we're playing Pod and hate pick the Sweeper Girl. Massacre Girl. Whew. That card can just be so brutal. I think it's like a way to balance mid-range versus like aggressive stuff, but I don't think it's too useful in the cube. Okay. I love these 2 first packs. It's only, my main concern is I want like 1-drops. Let's take the Scrubland here in case we get, I don't even know. I don't even know which black card I would splash for. What do we have here? Ooh, I love that Mana Tithe is back in. I love that. There's a Hull Breacher. It's going to take a lot for me to get away from that card, though. That can just shut down entire decks. It's not going to synergize with anything in my deck, but it's going to hurt every deck out there. Daze is also cool. Daze and Mana Tithe. Love those cards, but I think I'm supposed to take Hull Breacher here. And here's Esper Sentinel. Okay. That's not bad. I'll take Esper Sentinel over Mystic Confluence. I think that's fine. 1-drop. Add it to the fold. Let's see if we can get... If I get 2 more, I'm very happy. I think getting 1 more is like the average. I don't say no to Solitude here. Solitude over Library. That's just what happened. Solitude is awesome. Library would have been great, but whew, nice pack. That really upped the card quality here, Hull Breach or Solitude. Also, they kind of play in the same plane with the counters, like Commando, like Emperor. Like, I actually have a lot of flashy stuff going on here. Now I'm at 19 playables. I'm counting the Pearl as a land in this. Yeah. I mean, if we just can finish off, like, on average, I'll be very happy. But I'm ready to be even more positively surprised with some quality cards pretty late. Ooh, white 1-drop over not much. I actually like Shorikai. I think that's a good card. But for this deck, maybe I don't need it. Like, I have a lot of expensive cards. Ooh, great with 2 1-drops. Can we get one more? I have there's Giver, Figure, and Student, I believe. So we have counters. And other than that, we just have creatures up the curve and removal there, I guess. And removal there. So a lot of, like, good creatures. A lot of good interaction. A little bit of acceleration. A little bit of Shelldog late game value. Some pretty high card quality when it comes to my 4s and 5s. So we can actually muscle with the best of them, I believe. That's cool. Very late Bowmasters. I don't think I'm in a position to take it, though. Mainly because we're playing a league. I would hate pick this any day if... I do have 1 Scrubland, though. Is this the time to scramble for fixing? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the 1 Scrubland really pushes it over the edge. I take it over Seachrome, which bolsters blue. I take it over Relic Water, which is just, replaceable. Let's take the Bowmasters here. Okay. So I need, like, 1 more land that fixes the Bowmaster, then I need to register 1 Swamp, but I think that's worth it. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, we just take that card. I could have gone for Relic Water, but Bowmasters is good enough. And if I didn't have the Scrubland, I would have gone in another direction, actually. So here we have Staff, but we also have Headquarters. Headquarters is another blue source, blue-white source. I think I'm supposed to take Headquarters. Let's take the Headquarters. Try and bolster our mana a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is white-black tapped. Oh, there's white-black. Okay, perfect. Let's take that instead. Like, untapped early. I think that's gonna be huge. Let's take Courtyard. And I have 2 lands for the Bowmaster. Getting there, slowly but surely. Maybe Hearse for the sideboard. Yeah, let's go take Hearse. We wield both counters. I think I'm gonna take Mana Tithe because sometimes I'm just gonna have no blue. Sometimes I'm gonna have only Shelldog as blue. So let's take Mana Tithe. There's a Snuff Out, but I don't think that's realistic. I'm gonna take it though. The other cards don't do anything for me. I don't think Sunken Ruins is a card I want to play. Okay, so we got to a spot where I have 2 free black sources built in, and I need to register 1 swamp. And I think that's okay. Relic Water even. Okay, cool. I think I got there on playables now, and I have 23, and to go up to 17 lands. I think that's fine. This deck could probably play 16, but it has pretty good card quality up the curve, so might as well not take any chances. 1 swamp is a bit painful, but the Bowmasters is just so strong. Let's see how many islands. Maybe only just 1. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go to 5. Oh, maybe I need 2 islands. 2 islands, 1 swamp. 7 planes. Does that sound right? That puts me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 white. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so I think my mana is good enough here. Our card quality is definitely strong. We have good stuff up the curve. Mana Tithe definitely counts as a 1-drop. We can put that over there. So yeah, we're curving creatures and walkers, and we have 7 good interactive spells with even like Commando, Flicker Wisp, Bowmasters, Sentinel, Relic Warder, Hull Breacher, Palace Jailer, Emperor, Solitude Teferi. Like a lot of our creatures also interact. That's the whole point. I didn't mean to read aloud the whole deck. So I think this is going to be my mana base. 12 white, 6 blue, 3 black. Look, it's not perfect. It would be something like having like Underground Sea instead of Island, Fetch instead of Island, Cut the Swamp, whatever. Like, but we're not going to complain here. We have a great deck, and these kind of decks usually leads to great games as well. So hopefully that's what we have in store. We'll see you there. All right, round 1 on the draw here with the white weenie with some splashes. The swamp is not pretty here. The rest of the hand is decent. Dead memory lapse, but hopefully that card gets there eventually. There's a jailer. Let's play turn 1 Usher. This Teferi is like very expensive, so pitching that card to Solitude is realistic. But let's see. Let's get the Courtyard into play. Mainly because if I draw an island next turn, it's going to be awkward. Okay, so they make a token here. It's pretty good 1-drop, right? Savannah Lions kind of got outclassed. So the thing is, I don't know if my opponent's control or that is a good draw, or if my opponent is some kind of combo. But I mean, I think I'm fine just attacking here and letting my opponent come to me. Now I can Memory Lapse, aka Time Walk, a spell, and I can let creature resolve and take it with Palace Jailer. I'm hoping my opponent is a fair deck at this point. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a hurry if I'm in this situation, so let's see. Now I'm gonna make another token. This is kind of a strange game, like super slow paced. And now that my opponent is gonna be having a pretty easy time reading that I'm holding a 2-mana counter, but it is how it is. So even though Teferi untaps 2 lands on my end step, I don't think I'm playing it into my opponent's open mana here. I kind of feel like I got under my opponent's counters. Now you can argue I'm supposed to hold up Hardcast Solitude and not make a 1/1. I think I'm actually ready to do that instead of making a 1/1. Incidentally, I also play around, like, my opponent playing something with Mana Leak backup, but that's, like, very minor compared. I don't even know what's going on in this match, to be honest. Like, which deck doesn't have a play for all of those turns? Toxic. Toxic Deluge. Let force my opponent to try that again next turn. 2 mana. Time Walk, love it. Okay, that's a cool one. Toxic, get lapsed, then Time Walk to kind of... That's like countering my Memory Lapse. Okay, so my opponent's at 6. They clear the board. Cool. Maybe I should have cycled my land. Okay. So here, if my opponent has a 2-mana counter... Yeah, I should have cycled my land before my turn. That's too bad. So I'm going to play Palace Jailer here on an empty board with Mana Leak backup. And Not to mention Solitude backup. Draw an extra card. Opponent's on 6 mana. Bunch of cards in hand, like Pest Infestation. Not interested in that because that's a lot of creatures. Mana leaking the Pest Infestation, trying not to get dazed or forced. That did not happen. Now I'm going to resolve to Fairy, which is kind of cool. Play to Fairy, draw. Mox Pearl. Gonna play that. Play land, attack, untap 2 lands. I now have Hardcast Solitude up. Draw first in case I draw something strange. That'll make me untap other lands. The opponent has a chance to respond here. It's not gonna, do anything here, but it can be good to think about that. Oh, I don't want to get spell pierced or whatever, so I'll Vampiric Tutor now. Stuff like that. Okay. Cathar Commando could be cool. Opponent doesn't do anything. I have Commando and Cycle, which I should have done a few turns ago, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, I'm kind of burying my opponent in resources here, but I can lose this game. Oh, okay. Yeah, now it's going to be very unlikely that I lose this game. Spellseeker. That is fine. So let's see what my opponent goes for. Okay, so my opponent plays Spellseeker with Pest Infestation, Time Walk, and a Broken Aspect. Okay. So I think I should play around Daze here and go Commando. And just get rid of my opponent's blocker with Teferi and it's over. I don't have to show Solitude. Cycle this to morally come back. And yeah, my opponent realizes I can -3 Teferi, kill that off. That was a strange game because the opponent didn't do anything, but they were trying to set up a good Toxic, so I guess that's something. I'm going to bring in Unlicensed Hearse because I saw Shallowgrave. Which card is the worst against control? Could be a card like Portable Hole. Doesn't advance the board, only kills small stuff. Let's try to make that adjustment until we see different stuff from the opponent. Yeah, that was pretty smooth sailing. Your opponent doesn't do anything, and it's actually cool. My 1-drop made 2 more tokens and threatened the Toxic Deluge by itself. That was very lucky for me. We're going to be on the draw here again. So basically, blue-black, splash, Pest Infestation with a little bit of Shallowgrave action. Spellseeker, Time Walk to kind of bind it together. Looks like a fun deck to play if you get a bit better draws. Okay, the opponent's back. We're on the draw. They keep 7. I keep 7. Headquarters is not a bad draw because most likely I'll need blue mana over the course of the game, but my land spell ratio is kind of bad right now, so let's not draw more lands. That's what I'm trying to say here. Opponent fetches for blue-green because they have the black there. Cool. I'll play Aspirant, grow it. Next turn I have Council's Judgment if the opponent plays a good card. If they don't, I'm not really sure. Oh, Show and Tell. I guess I put the Jailer, because if they put a big creature, I don't have the time to cast Jailer, so here goes nothing. baby! That is the dream. Whew. What? Yeah, that's sick. That is sick. So, I think I still play Adversary because now I drew Wanderer. So even though it's not optimal to play Adversary here, I think it's okay. I'm gonna put a counter on Jailer, I guess. So the thing is, I have to remember here, if my opponent takes back the Monarch, they will get an Emrakul. So bad stuff can happen, like flyers, hasters, stuff like that. Let's see if we get Toxic here. Toxic for 3. Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's not let my opponent become the Monarch. Remand was a great draw last turn. Now I can. Ooh. Yeah, I'm scared now. I'm scared, but I think between Remand and Wanderer, I'm in good shape. Fingers crossed. Show and Tell Emrakul versus the white deck is not always enough, right? But you have to go for it. It's not like you can be like, oh, he might have Palace Jailer or Council's Judgment, so I'm not gonna do it. Like, that's not how it works, in my opinion. It's just unlucky, right? Ooh, Mana Tithe. That might be insane. Let's see. Sentinel. That's fine. If nothing happens, I can go Sentinel, hold up Emperor next turn. Yeah, yeah. That card is so good. Baleful Strix. Might have to remand it. Remand the Strix. Opponent can't cast it again, which is awesome. Bowmasters. Yeah, okay. I'm a champion. So now I can go Sentinel. Guess it's better to see my opponent's hand first. Let's see, they have Strix and Mana Drain. That's not very fun for the opponent. So I'm gonna take... I'm gonna take the Strix. Because now my opponent has to tap out for the Strix, and I have a Bowmaster. And I even have a Mana Tithe. This is... Yeah, this is not fair. If the opponent draws land number 6, which is, like, something... Now I'm in a spot where if they draw land number 6, they just have a lot of land. And that's good for me. If they don't draw land number 6, my Mana Tithe is better. Oh, I miscounted. I actually thought Strix was a 6 drop. Okay, fair enough. Baleful 6. Got me. Okay. Whatever. Okay, so now they have Mana Drain next turn. Imperial Seal. Let's see if they pay for it. Yeah, this is just brutal. This is brutality. Okay, so let's see. My opponent has a Mana Drain and nothing in hand. I have all the tools in the world, so I could just kill the Strix, get in for 5 if I pump with Emperor. Maybe that's good. Yeah, let's just do that. I have, yeah, everything here. The opponent has a Mana Drain and not anything to do with it, so... Emperor... Put a counter... Attack for 5. Opponent's at 4. I have a Walker. I have the Monarch. I have a million creatures in play. Opponent's down to a Mana Drain in hand. What a beating. The opponent needs something very, very special here. I can think about stuff like Questing Beast, which would attack me for 4, get back the Emrakul, kill the Wanderer even. But then I can still just, get rid of the Emrakul, attack for lethal pretty easily. Ooh, that was a beating from my opponent. Very just great draws, and yeah, great draws out of a great deck. Let's see if we can continue. Don't go anywhere. Round 2, we're on the play. Let's see if we can do some good things with our white aggro deck. The tap lane is unfortunate here, but I think this hand is fine. So against random opponent, I just feel like getting down the Sentinel is cool. It might disrupt them a lot. And if I draw an untapped land, I can kind of keep going. Let's see. I don't draw an untapped land, so I kind of have to play a little bit off base here. So let's see. Play that. Maybe Memory Lapse is going to be the most clutch card late. Let's see. If I'm just stuck here on 2 lands, maybe it's not enough what I'm doing here. Ledger Shredder. Resolves. Ooh, that's bad. So let's see. What can we do here? Not a whole lot. I feel like I just pass, and then I try and reprieve something, and if I can't, I'll just play a 3-1 end of turn. Wandering Emperor. I mean, if I find a few lands, I'm in great shape. But if I don't, I think I'm in bad shape. 3 mana. Ooh, I love this. So I get a card. That's sick. Then I reprieve that card. Yeah, that was a great turn for me. The opponent does not want to trade damage there, which is funny. I think I should do the same one more turn. Now, obviously, my opponent can most likely pay for the Frantic, but I think it's worth it. Using the Reprieve and Remand to dig for a land so I can double spell. Esposendel is always annoying. Okay. Let's see if my opponent pays. They do pay. They discard it. Yeah, I'll just Remand. I think that's perfectly fine. That card is going to keep annoying my opponent. Now they ponder to trigger the Shredder. That works. So between Sunken Ruins and Etched Oracle, it's pretty obvious the opponent is some kind of Doomsday deck. Ooh, binning the Echo of Eons there. That's pretty cool. I don't have black mana, which would blow out my opponent. I wonder how I play this. If I'm expecting to get echoed. No shuffle. Let's see if the opponent wants to trade 2 damage for 1 damage. They do. I like that. Tundra is a decent draw, but I already had the planes, so nothing to write home about. So maybe the play here is Aspirant, power up the Sentinel to make it better. Get ready to, I guess, flash in Commando. I think this is cool. So most likely my opponent is not the best control deck. So if I can avoid dying to the combo aspect of the deck, I'm most likely in good shape. I wonder what the red is for. Red can be for just, Wheel of Fortune, Underworld Breach. Okay, so my opponent needs to pay 2 mana for this card. Let's see if they're willing to do that. They don't. I draw my tapped black. So I guess my opponent's looking to go play that expressive to look for a land and then draw 7. Draw 7 also negates my Sentinel. Then they play with a full grip out of a combo deck. I play with a full grip out of Aggro control deck. Yeah, it could be fine for me. But I can also see why it's my opponent's best play. Blackkeep Cliffs. Okay, so I think I was right on my opponent not having the land. But they only found a tap land, so not ideal. I almost forgot about that card. So now my opponent's trying to murder my... I don't know. What are they doing? Oh, they're trying to clear my hand of a counterspell. So I don't have anything, which is pretty cool. I don't have any counter. My land is also a tap land, unfortunately. I feel like they should have discarded there to kill, but they were just so afraid of a counter, I guess. It really proves the power of holding up mana. The opponent's attacking. Not sure about that. Let's see what we can draw. Scrubland. Wow. I'm a champion. Where is my Rocky theme? What a draw. So I have Bowmaster. Am I supposed to play out more creatures, or am I already winning? I think I'm supposed to not play out more stuff. Maybe grow the Commando. I really don't like my opponent's attack, because they're trading 3 damage for a bunch of damage here. The reason why I don't play out a creature is I could easily see either of our libraries going below 20 cards, and then I have hard counter from Memory Lapse alongside casting Bowmasters online. Let's see if that pays off. Yeah, I drew one of my 2 untapped black sources there, which was huge. Let's see if the opponent can figure out a plan that beats Bowmasters. Frantic Search. Let's see if the opponent is willing to pay for that. They're not. Okay, so my plan is kind of coming together here. I play Bowmaster in response. My opponent goes to 20 cards in deck, and then my Memory Lapse is live. So now I'm going to point twice at my opponent, because then they're at 7. They can't draw 7, no matter what. So I grow my Orc army to a 3/3. My opponent's at 7. Yeah, this is not looking great for the opponent. They need to get rid of the Bowmasters and beat my Memory Lapse, I feel like. That they don't know about. Opponent's at 7. Some Stormkill, maybe, is possible. But they discarded Prism, which is like free Storm, so I'm not even sure. A Ball Ritual. Ping my opponent to 6. Also, when I play my Memory Lapse, that's my second spell. So that will ping my opponent further. Let's see what this is. Seething Song. Yeah, I'm getting scared now. But I don't think countering Seething Song makes any sense. Yeah, that card is insane. So let's try and Memory Lapse. The opponent will draw a card from Shredder first. So they need... The last card in the hand needs to be an answer for Memory Lapse. The last card in hand slash the top card, I guess. Let's see what this... Oh, yeah, Landside Diamond. That's a good one. Let's see what the last card is in my opponent's hand. Underworld Breach is now on top of the deck. What can the opponent do about that? So I can float a mana here. Opponent, yeah, this is sick. This is very sick. Because I now have 1 mana up with my Cathar Commando to kill the Breach. And my opponent needs... Well, maybe they don't need to. But I think it's very likely they would go Breach in this main phase. If they change main phase, I don't know if that's better. I don't even know how they win from here. It's like finding Brain Freeze and then winning with Oracle. But if they can't draw that many cards, yeah, this is pretty sick. I'm just going to respond to the first thing over there and go crack Commando Kill Breach. What a game. The opponent has 4 combat damage here. So potentially they can do a lot of damage to me with Collective Brutality, Fire, Ice, but I think when I kill the Breach in response, that's going to limit them a lot. Ooh, this is a scary combo pile to play against. But I have a lot of counters and a decent clock, so maybe I'm good against it. I also have Unlicensed Hearse in my sideboard. Let's quickly check our sideboard here. I have Vendilion Click that I'll definitely bring in. I'm just going to kill the Breach there, first chance I get. I've Click and Hearse that I'm going to bring in. I've seen Prism and Shredder as targets for the 1 mana removal. That is like my default card to bring out against combo, but maybe it's okay. Now the opponent can respond with some instants. I mean, I think I can lose this game. If they... No, they don't have 1 blue. I was trying to think about... Yeah, well, if they... like brainstorm into Tendrils, just cast Cabal Ritual, Seething Song, whatever, cast all that stuff in response, and then try and find Tendrils. Ooh. Yeah, this is potentially exciting. Not over yet. Thank you for sticking with me throughout this long turn. Sometimes it's like that when you play combo in a singleton format, and oh, maybe you forgot to screenshot the deck, and you have to remember this and that, right? If the opponent wins this game, they're actually... That's sick. Like, I can appreciate that. Getting there with Breach. Against Bowmasters, against Triple Counter, against Disenchant Effect on Breach. Good clock, etc., etc. Also, we have to remember there's a Lionside Diamond on the stack, so the opponent has more mana than you would think. Let me put it that way. Yeah, so what should I bring out here for the Click and... curse. I guess let's just finish this game. The opponent fired my Bowmasters. I love that because now my opponent can draw 7 with a bunch of mana. This is sick. Gotta love it. I'm happy my intuition was right with you know, having the memory lapse under Shelldock. Let's see it. The opponent has 5 mana to work with. I have Solitude as interaction in case my opponent goes for something scrappy Doomsday kill. My opponent will need to kill 2 of my creatures for me not to have lethal next turn. They can only leave the Sentinel, I believe, or the Aspirant, I guess. Because I have the means to kill Shredder and play Bowmaster. Manamorphose. This is beautiful. This is the beauty of Cube. Just sometimes you can thread the needle and all of your draft decisions, like maybe some card you speculated on or you got like super late in a pack, comes out clutch, and that's the difference between winning and losing. That's one of the best parts about Cube for me. My favorite part about Cube is playing like nostalgic old cards that just defined the game for years, and I remember playing as a kid with new cards. I think that's just amazing. Okay, looks like my opponent is trying to, let's call it stabilize here, which is super funny. Oh my goodness, what a game. Okay, the opponent discards 2 lands, so not that many blockers. Just 2 mana left. Just 1 floating and 1 land. So that means I can go, if nothing else happens, I can Council's Judgment the Shredder. I can put a counter on Aspirant, and I can attack for lethal with Mana Leak backup. Chrome Mox, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Imprint Vampiric Tutor, and there's the Spiral. Sorry, Twister. Opponent's tapped out. Feel like I'm supposed to Solitude the... Yeah, which one? The 2/2 maybe? Let's Solitude the 2/2. Give my opponent a couple of life points. Because this way, if I draw 1 removal, I'm winning. Is this game over? No, I'm 1 short. Ooh, this is a disaster. This is a disaster. Pearl, not gonna help me, but I mean, obviously, fine draw. Okay. So, put my opponent to 1 and have memory lapse. Oh, I played out the Pearl. That was a big mistake. Ah! That's bad. That's bad. Because now I'm going to trigger the Shredder if I flash in the Emperor. Okay, so my opponent will only go to 2 life here. I can't play the Emperor now. I need to let the Shredder die first. Terrible play. Okay. Yeah, if I don't play that land, then I can... But maybe 2 and 1 life is the same. I have 2/2s, I'm making 2/2s, etc. Maybe it's fine. So let's see. I just play untapped land, I feel like. Do I play the creature? I don't think so. Let's just pass. So now my opponent needs to kill me. Through a memory lapse, through a big board, through a walker. It's possible, I'm afraid. It's action probe. They let me draw a card. My card was very bad. So if I become desperate, I can cycle this headquarters and try and look for a 2-mana counter. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now I don't think I'm favored anymore, to be honest. I think it kind of switched when my hand couldn't muster removal. I think it was nice killing the 2/2. Because otherwise it would just have one more blocker, right? So let's see here. Manamorphose, you got it. Gone are many rituals alongside 1-draw 7. 1-draw 7 in the yard. So I feel like it's like Doomsday. Oh yeah, that's the big one. Getting my opponent to 1 life takes Doomsday off the table. Oh, this game keeps on giving. This feels like the longest game I've ever played. We're only on turn 7, but they took their time to think, which is understandable. Like playing singleton multiple combo can be tough. Yeah. I allow the Lionside Diamond. I can lose to Brain Freeze. If I get Brain Frozen, I can go Wandering Emperor, Memory Lapse my own Emperor, and then buy a turn and attack for lethal. I have to remember that. Just so much small stuff here. Underworld Breach. No, I don't think I can let that happen. But the opponent could easily have some cantrip here. And now my freeze my own spell is out of the equation. Lapse my own spell in the face of freeze, rather. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now I wonder if I'm supposed to cycle or keep up the mana. Let's cycle. Let's be a big boy. No luck. So now what can the opponent do? Now they can play Underworld Breach. Draw 7, I guess. Ah, this is sick. Magic is a sick game. Oh, there's a freeze. Okay. So, funnily enough, if I don't um if I don't memory lapse, I think I'm winning this game. Maybe not. No, maybe not. That was a beating. Very awesome. Very awesome game. Like I felt like I was winning a lot of the time, but that wasn't the case. Getting my opponent to 1 didn't do anything, but was a suboptimal play. Looks like the opponent wants to play more. I don't really understand. Oh, okay. So the opponent is playing around my ability to, like, you know, put stuff back in my deck, I guess. So now my opponent has both Jace and Thassa's. No Doomsday, though. No Doomsday. They do have Tendrils as well. Oh, wow. A lot of cool cards there. And there's the Oracle. The opponent wins the game. That was game 1. Just think about that. Pretty crazy. Vendilion Click. Unlicensed Hearse. Yes, please. card like Gideon is not that great. Yeah, I can definitely cut Gideon and Solitude, I guess. How many blue do I have for this click? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to get to at least 7. And even that isn't you know, a ton. If I go to one more down and on white, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I feel like I can actually do that. I think that's reasonable to support a decent sideboard card. Okay, so can I cast this Scholar? Scholar is also good against that deck, but maybe too hard for the mana. Yeah, I really don't recommend this, but I feel like getting as much disruption as possible could be game winning against a deck like that. Okay, we have a bunch of disruption. Our mana got worse. Let's see. And we have all 3 colors on in our opening hand. Well played. Okay, so I have turn 1 Hallow Blade, then I have Mana Tithe up until I get Click Mana. I think that's cool. So no Mana Tithe turn 1, but I think that's fine. It's way more important to start the clock. Let's say my opponent tries to kill my Hollow Blade. I think I discard Teferi to keep it alive. I don't like that my opponent is tanking turn 1, but that's how it is sometimes. Blue card. Ledger Shredder has been imprinted. Oh, it's maybe Collective Brutality. That's a good one. -2/-2 against the Indestructible card. And they clear my Mana Tithe. Sick. Okay. That's definitely a good start for the opponent. That's not a blue source. I do have my Teferi if I draw one more land within the next couple of turns. Reprieve, great draw. So now the dream is the opponent plays nothing. I draw 5th land. I play Teferi. And then untap for Reprieve. But yeah, it doesn't look like it. Let's see here. Opponent of Vampiric Tutor resolves. Wonder what they got. Okay, they want a Jace. Jace is probably nice draw. Jace is probably the best like standalone card out of that deck. I'm gonna play the Scholar out. I think that's just better. Let's take the Jace. Opponent has Tendrils in hand, which is very far from being anything but blank cardboard. Opponent has to pass. Scholar. Fairy. Draw. The Dream is a 2-mana counter, but fine. So now, the cool thing about Teferi is I can float a blue mana on my end step and then untap the Tundra to actually play the click. Okay, I drew an island, so never mind. Then I'm gonna do it on the opponent's turn because then I can actually snack what they found on draw step. Opponent fetching out Steam Vents. Not gonna untap anything. Draw step. Click. Powering my opponent's Storm Count, but fine. I don't think I can dig my opponent towards stuff. I think I have to just let those cards be. Now I'm attacking for 5 each turn. Great draw. Oof, memory lapse, that's sick. Hold Reacher even. Okay. Okay, this is awesome. Hmm. Do I want to get my opponent? Yeah, probably. So, yeah, I even have lethal now, so... And the opponent doesn't know that. And they're not gonna make, like, a bad tendrils here. Maybe I take that back. Seething Song resolves. Pedal. Hmm. Let's hope it's not, like, a sicko card that wins the game next turn. Time Twister. Let's play Hull Breacher. Nice surprise here. So we go to game 3. That deck is super scary. I need to clock the deck. I need to disrupt the deck. That's super scary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 white. Should be enough. Okay. Game 3. Whew. What a match. Okay, I have a turn 1 Sentinel. I have turn 3 Hull Breacher. I think that's something I have to accept. To ferry the draw. Not necessarily something that's going to help me now, but if the game drags on, maybe. Remand, very good draw. The thing about Hull Breacher is it speeds up the clock, so I'm incentivized to play it. But it's also a potential gotcha card, so hanging on to it can sometimes be valuable. Opponent plays Vamp Tutor. Yeah. Just good old Time Twister? Prism. Let's see if we draw the card first. Does my opponent setting up for something sick next turn? What happens if I remand that spell? I probably have to, because if my opponent got a bigger spell, it's tough. It's really tough. Then I draw that card, which is... It's tough because, let's say their plan is something like 2 or 3 mana, then that Prism is gonna, quote-unquote, counter my remand. But now I think it's decent because... I'm trying to think here. If my opponent has something like... I should have like studied my opponent's deck better. If they have like a 2-mana counter. Yeah, I'm playing this. I'm playing this in response to not get 2-mana countered. Also knowing the opponent could like, kill it with a sorcery speed removal. It's not the best, but my plan is to kill the Prism next time. Hopefully get my opponent to not use it, pass, take damage, then get Relic Ordered. That didn't happen. Yeah, that might have been my biggest mistake here. Oh my god. Okay, so the deck keeps bailing me out, I feel like. Yeah, I don't think that was... I don't think that was ideal with the Hull Breacher. But I just didn't want to get, like, 2-mana countered. Guess I should have just studied my opponent's deck better. Okay, I think I played the Bowmasters for the block. What a draw. Reprieve. Take a bunch of damage. You're at 9. I think Commando is going to be better under there. I'm not going to play the Jailer. I wonder what my opponent Vampiric Tutored for. Was it just a Prism? And they were trying to... No, that can't be. I was about to say, was it the Prism that they wanted to ramp into, like, Echo of Eons or something? But that can't be. Then they would have discarded it to Brutality. Let's see if I get the card from Ritual. I do get the card from Ritual. That's fine. Yawk will. I feel like, what if I let that go? Let's see. If Yawk will resolves and I just like reprieve rather the next spell, is that better? I think this is better. Returning it to my opponent's hand right now. How much damage have I got here? I have 5. So I play Teferi, draw, Mana Tithe. Maybe it's good, who knows? Attack. Untap, so I potentially have Shelldog later in the turn and I have Mana Tithe. And now my opponent needs to kill me now, or they're toast and have to do it through a Bowmasters. Yeah, this game got a little bit complicated. Get the card from Chrome. Yawk will. Sure. Did my opponent play a land this turn? I don't think they did. Which is a bit annoying. There's the land. I have 21 cards in the deck, so I'm not going to be able to cast this Cathar before my turn. So right now, the opponent can kill the Bowmaster and try and clear my hand for some reason. Mana Tithe, that resolves. Not quite sure what the opponent's plan is here. I just have... Oh, they go to 6, right. Because they discarded 2 cards, I guess. Okay, so I can only deal 5. Now I can get rid of the Mox if I want to. Maybe stealing all mana in the world here is important. But I can do that with Cathar as well, so maybe I look for counters. Okay, the game is not hard when you draw like that. So now I can go Cathar, kill Mox, Aspirant, put counter on Sentinel, get in for 5. And that should do it. The opponent did a really good job fighting here against terrible working conditions. Remand, Hull Breacher, Reprieve, Mana Tithe, Bowmasters. Even Relic Water, Esper Sentinel all the time. Yeah, that was... The opponent had to climb a huge mountain to win that match, and this time it wasn't meant to be, but yeah, that puts us at 2-0, meaning we're playing for the trophy next, so see you there. Don't go anywhere. Okay, let's see if we can finish the job here. I'm 2-0 with White Weenie slash good cards. And this is a decent keep. Turn 1 Sol Ring. That is a start. I can go turn 1 Sentinel, play draw, plays a big part in Magic, but that's nothing new. Opponent has 4 mana turn 2. What can you do with it, opponent? If I get to survive this turn, I guess my opponent taking damage off the shock land is kind of the reason why that's not going to happen. Shredder survive rather, like, if I wanted my opponent to not play anything, then I could sit behind the remand, etc., but not going to happen. Okay, so opponent can pay for the snuff out and grow the Shredder. That's cool. I wonder how Hullbreacher and Shredder works. If they would, are they then forced to discard? Great questions. Remand or Aspirant? I feel like I'm supposed to get on the board here. Let's see. If our opponent is like blue-black fair, we might have a shot. The dream is past the turn here. That dream is dead. Maybe the opponent should start with... No, this is better. Then they draw 2 automatically. I was about to say, maybe start with the draw spell to try and grow the Shredder, but that's not really what you want to be doing if you can just draw 2 with no questions asked. The opponent has more plays. That's not really part of my plan. Voidwalker. Voidwalker is annoying for the racing situation here, but let's see. I'll attack for 3. I'll try and get my opponent with the Hullbreacher. The opponent's at 9 life, thanks to Snuff Out mainly. Okay, the opponent's looking to chump block the Aspirant already. I'll play the Hullbreacher out. I don't expect it to resolve, though. Oof. Urtai. That's a good one. So counter, I draw. I need some stuff. I'm not going to win if I draw more lands. So this is interesting. The opponent could have attacked with Shredder, and then just played Urtai to kill off this one on attack. The opponent's trying to figure out if they should let this Hullbreacher resolve, but it can't really be. That can't be the play. Hullbreacher got countered. Portable Hole is not nothing. I'll Portable Hole the Shredder and keep attacking. I feel like that's my only way to win this game. Now I have 4 plus 5. And a funny interaction if my opponent goes for trying to make a Hullbreacher out of the Voidwalker, then I can remand it back to my hand. Let's not get countered. The thing is about the Voidwalker, it being a shadow creature, the opponent is likely to do this no matter what. Like, no matter if they have backup or not, so. Let's see what this is. Necromancy in response on the Urtai. That's awesome. So my remand gets countered. I draw a card. The Urtai is dead. End of turn. The opponent now has a Hull Breacher, which is like, knock on wood, just a glorified blocker. Or a glorified life gain spell, rather. So now Urtai's gone. The opponent did a good job, like, building their own counter spell. Building their own Arcane Denial or something like that. Oh. Okay, Spellbinder could be pretty sick. I think I'm looking to play that first main phase and put a counter on that. Opponent with a reanimate only. So I put a counter on the flyer, attack for 4. That means the flyer is lethal next turn. The opponent will not chump block. Maybe they have a Time Twister in there. That would be legendary. They hit a Twister here. So they can not survive here, I believe. They can survive here, I believe. Sick. That was a beating of a draw. Now the opponent goes to 3. Kill off my aspirant. The counter thing is negated. They get a treasure. Wow. Yeah, great comeback here. I can play Gideon. I can make it 2/2. Ooh, that's brutal. Virtue, what a draw. Gaining life even in the process. And here's the enchantment that can kind of put me away. No, Archon, even better. Woohoo, baby, that's sick. Wow. Okay, so that was a roller coaster. What a game. When I killed the Gideon and I'm dead next turn. Yeah, I thought that was my game for sure. Sick game. Okay, blue-black control with a little bit of reanimation sprinkled in. I think it's definitely worth it. With unlicensed hearse. So Hull, we actually saw some decent targets for. I'm not going to cut that this time around. I could cut Relic Water. I know I saw Soul Ring, but I feel like if my opponent does not draw the Soul Ring, this card could be pretty bad. Compared to the rest of the cards, right? It's still fine, but I think the rest of the cards are just better. Ooh. We got smoked there after winning handily. That's always the cool thing about Cube is you have like some, or Magic in general, I guess. You can have like a feeling in your stomach, okay, this I'm doing super well. I need my opponent, and my opponent needs a miracle, or the other way around, right? I'm losing this, I need a miracle. And then it's just kind of cool to see what your deck can come up with in those situations. Like, that's just a dream, right? From my opponent. They have nothing. They're staring down lethal and then some. They draw a removal with life gain that also turns on the reanimate. The Hull Breacher he stole made it so that I wouldn't draw from the Urtai trigger. Perfect. And then the Archon to boot, which wasn't necessary at this stage, I would say. I think even if my opponent plays that enchantment, I think you just have to survive one turn and it's going to go south for me quickly. What a beating. If my deck was more blue base, I would love Scolding. But I don't think this deck has, blue mana often enough to like early, and later the card can just be bad, so let's not do that. Wow, great hand. So turn 1 I go Usher with Tapland. Turn 2 I hold up Leak. Turn 3 I have Jailer. Very awesome opening. Uh, okay. I hate whiffing on Sheldog. To be honest, it doesn't happen that often. I just remember the times that I do. Opponent with Mox and Sol Ring in the deck now. Mm-hmm. Spellbinder is a good one. I'll play that over the leak. Let's see what we can snag out of our opponent's hand here. Ooh, okay, so I'm gonna take the Hymn to Torek, and then I'm gonna let my opponent troll reanimate. The thing about the Hymn to Torek is if my opponent can still play it next turn. If my opponent finds something better to do than troll, that would be brutal for me. I need my opponent to reanimate that troll here, and then I think I'm doing well. Yeah, so the opponent took damage they shouldn't off Water Grave here. Because they can just cycle with the Emerald, they reanimate, and have a tap Water Grave. Okay, so they decide to give me a creature and save life. That's there. We take that. My opponent had... Yeah, now I can get hymned, but I think that's okay since I have the Monarch. My card is gone. And if I get hymned, I mean, I have a lot of damage, so... Oh, they hit both counters. Okay. My opponent has a shot. That's a good draw. Attack for 6. So let's see. Okay, so I can play my land, I can draw with the Monarch, then decide on the Usher. Always good to know the wording on the cards. Opponent's down to 7, I have 7 power. Yeah. Yeah, what a draw here. Like, Mox was insane on both sides of the table. But the fact that I could delay that Hymn to Torek and just play the Palace Jailer and kill the troll, I was going to play that Palace Jailer anyway, so... Okay, so my opponent showed Exhume, Reanimate, Necromancy. Maybe that's it. But it's still, like, a lot of reanimation. Yeah. I can't do anything about that. I just need to have, like, good draws to beat that deck, I feel like. Okay, we're going to game 3, playing for the trophy. This deck is a bit sweet. It has, like, a perfect mix between, you know, being fast, closing out games, and then disruptive to delay opponents and punish combo decks. I like that a lot. The mana base wasn't perfect, but it's good enough, I feel like. I mean, if I didn't want to, I could just not play the Bowmasters, right? So... But I think that's worth working for. Somebody in the draft, I remember, they tried to draft, like, Mother of Runes and Adeline early. And that obviously made my deck a bit worse, but turned out great. But that's why it's important to also look into, like, draft fixing, etc. So if you don't get there on the monocolored deck, you can still win the game. Okay, opponent shocks turn 1. I'm just thinking Cycle Troll. Wow, Ancestral Sol Ring Mox. Yuck. That is a good deck. That's the dream, right? 3 top 5 cards. That's very likely gonna be too much. Very, very likely gonna be too much. So let's see here. Maybe kill Mox. Maybe not kill Mox. Maybe hold up Lapse for one turn, kill Mox the next turn. Okay. Let's try. It's a problem. The opponent has a full grip. Because Memory Lapse is like, it's a tempo play. So if I'm not attacking my opponent, then it doesn't really do a whole lot. I'll Memory Lapse that card. Land. There's the mana leak. I don't hate that at all. So let's portable hold the Mox. I most likely have to... Oh, okay, my opponent cycles away the Ophiomancer. I guess that's fine for me, but it's also like the opponent most likely has better things to do, which is not nice for me. I need to draw, yeah, something else than land. So Mana Tithe could be clutch this game, Mana Leak the same, but I need to resolve something at some point. I do have a lot of flash cards though, which is not that bad. Shredder is... Oh, my opponent played a Swamp. I missed that. Shredder's annoying because it maybe also enables like some reanimation stuff. Let's see. Land. I draw Hearse. Hearse is not that bad. With that card in play, my opponent has a slow clock. Maybe I can claw into this game. Yeah, card is annoying. I feel like I need to draw a land now, and I'm in good shape. Land. Maybe I... Maybe I kill Shredder now? No, I don't think so. Ugh. The Rona. The Rona is just gonna loot. I think I'm... this is so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna kill the Rona because I feel like I have a chance in this game unless my opponent gets to, you know, the good stuff before I like draw my land, etc. But this is a tough game. I'm hoping like my opponent goes Hardcast Grave Titan, get Mana Tithe, stuff like that. Also, my opponent's only hitting for one each turn, and my opponent's lands are most likely not the best. Like later. So maybe if I go slow and steady, I can win this. I'll exile my creatures. Emperor is going to be sick later because it's like a must counter, and I don't tap down from counters myself. What is this? Okay, Virtue. So let me think here. Isn't Virtue just bad? You can make the same case for Mana Tithe, but I actually think I'm going to counter Hardcast Archon this game. So I just have to... Yeah, who knows? This might hurt me. Land. Okay. I feel like we can do this. Opponent's on 8 land now. So if I don't get to Mana Tithe Archon, I'm very sad about the Mana Tithe situation. That's basically why I kept the card. Come on. Archon, baby. No, fail to find? That's hilarious. So, yeah, that's hilarious. Ah, too funny. Okay, don't hate that. Gonna play this so slow. So please draw land, opponent. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that's so annoying. Mm. I feel like I'm supposed to get that Emperor into play. What if I go, yeah, let's play Emperor in response. And that's the thing about Mana Tithe now is that if I have to Mana Tithe something this turn, it's going to grow the Shredder. Oh, this is so terrible. The good thing is I have like a huge hearse here that might do something. Yeah, hand disruption is something I didn't think enough about when I was crafting my Mana Tithe plan. But just think about it. If I Mana Tithe the Virtue and then I get Archon, I look like an idiot. But maybe Mana Leak and Mana Tithe are almost the same spell at this stage. Who knows? So funny that my opponent didn't have the 8th land with Flooded Strand. This is probably like one island. That's really not that many. One island, one water grave. But they showed Flooded Strand and Bloodstained Mire the other game, so maybe that's enough. They take Gideon. So I can go -2 and kill it. -2 and kill it. Does sound kind of nice. Let's try. Then my plan is to go Council's Judgment on the bat, which is very annoying. No cards in the yards. But then at least... Ooh, wait a minute. Maybe I have a new plan here. Let's play that out. Then put a counter on that. So now I'm like favorably racing, and my opponent need to do something. So he can keep jabbing away. Soul Ring, let's see, is fine. I can't do anything about that. The opponent now has 8 mana right now, but that would be quite bad. They have a lot of mana next turn, though. That works. So Archon and something else is in the opponent's hand. Don't think I'm supposed to kill that Soul Ring off. Headquarters, very bad. Put a counter on that. Attack for 5. Let's see, is this Snuff Out? That is Snuff Out. I'm killing the Soul Ring because I want my soft counters to... I want my soft counters to counter his fatties. So let's see, is this better off as a cycler? I think it is. I'm not gonna let my opponent do that, obviously. So exile the commando. And now the opponent can... They kind of... I let my guard down, so to speak, with Hearse. So if they have a way to get rid of a fatty and reanimate a fatty, now's the time, but looks like they don't. Yeah, it looks like my opponent, yeah, just has, fatty in hand. It's just so funny. More crap. Keep the bat in check. What a grind. What a grind, buddy. But I need to draw like any creature, and then it's back in my favor. I don't think blue-black can answer Hearse. They can maybe answer it like very temporarily, but maybe that's going to be enough. Let's see. Am I back to maybe it's a good idea to just kill the bat and move on? Maybe I should have done that last turn. Hull Breacher. Hull Breacher put a counter on it. How does that sound? I think that sounds good. Hull Breacher put a counter on it. Hold up my double soft counter and the reprieve my opponent does not know about. This game is pretty insane when you think about it. So much stuff happened this game. Jace Rinse Prodigy is fine. That is fine as well. I'm just gonna build like the biggest hearse in the business, and then maybe sometime in the future I can win with it. Who knows? So now the thing is, the opponent can go block with Jace and then just return it like for free, basically. And I'll have to make a decision about if I want to let them do that, or like how conservative I want to play against the Virtue. Tough game, baby. The opponent's going to chum block. Then what am I going to do? Maybe this is where I just kill the bat and sit tight. Kill the bat and then try and win. Yeah, I think that's good. Well played here by the opponent, except for the fact... Ooh. I don't like that. I like that a lot for me, though. So let's Council's Judgment the bat. Get back Gideon. The funny thing is, if the opponent has the 3-2, they can kind of stifle the ability that Gideon goes back to my hand. That would be kind of cool. That did not happen. So, pass. Have Reprieve, Mana Tithe, Mana Leak. I have a big Hull Breacher. And I can play a Planeswalker next turn. My goodness. This is really a grind, but it's kind of awesome, right? We got Ancestral, this and that. And we're still playing. And we're playing for the trophy, so this is what you want out of a trophy match. Liliana of the Veil. This is very, very annoying. But I'm in this for the long run. I need to sacrifice a creature. And that has to be the Holly. Then I hearse the Hull Breacher before my turn. How big is the hearse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kind of cool. Curse. Remand. Great card. Go Gideon. Make it 2/2, put a counter on it. Make it 2/2 with Gideon. Put a counter on it with Emperor. This game is so absurd. Draw with Jace. We accept that. So now the opponent is looking to like force the issue on Hearse and then do it while I'm tapped out. Gristlebrand it is. Okay. Opponent's going to target the Gristlebrand. I can't let that happen, so that's why I'm going to activate Hearse. And here's where the instant reanimator can come into play, but I don't think I saw any instant reanimator, so. Okay, Necromancy. Let's see. I feel like I should remand that card. Let's remand the Necromancy. Is this where a Mana Tithe? I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Oh, actually, this might be a decent this might be a decent time to do it. Let's Mana Tithe there. And my opponent can draw a bunch of cards with Gristlebrand. We can't do anything, so I'm gonna draw 7. Wait, Mox Sapphire, Mox Emerald, Sol Ring, and Ancestor Recall? Holy crap. That's quad top 10 card. Oof. Very, very tough to beat. This must be one of the best games, like, so back and forth, and who's gonna blink first, basically. They play with information. I draw some soft counters afterwards. I believe my opponent knows about Leak. They don't know about Reprieve. I now have a lethal Hearse, if I can find removal. I can easily discard the planes to Liliana if that's the case. Actually, the problem is the opponent can most likely present another fatty here. Let's count on the Hearse while the opponent's thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12, 12 Hearse. But the opponent has Jacerin's Prodigy no matter what on defense. I'm very lucky this wasn't Shallow Grave or Corpse Dance. Yeah. The opponent has 9 cards in hand, 6 cards in the deck. So no more drawing from Gristlebrand. And they need to finish the game in 6 turns. So using Jacerin's Prodigy most likely not going to be a thing. Plus Lily, dump a fatty. I lose a planes. They reanimate a fatty. I'm in big trouble. Let's see if First Strike from the Wanderer comes into play. Who knows? I'm gonna discard a Plains. I'm gonna discard Archon. That's so sick. Exhume. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, let's see. Do I discard sacrifice Wanderer? Maybe I sacrifice 2/2. Let's see. I can make Gideon into a 5/5 attacker next turn. Indestructible, that is. This is +1/+1 on the Gideon, so it makes Gideon a better attacker. This is some brutal stuff. This is some brutal stuff. Not sure I could beat that card, unless I draw an answer for it, of course. Opponent's at 14 now. Also a problem. Opponent has Liliana on... Oof, very nice. Opponent has Liliana on 2 counters. Also a problem. Aspirant. Okay. Okay. So if I go Aspirant... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So almost there. Maybe it's good. Let's see. My opponent forces me to sacrifice 2 creatures next turn. That sucks. Let's crew. Put a counter on Hearse. I can't remember if my opponent saw Bowmasters this draft. Or this game, rather. I'm going to attack my opponent for 13. Oh. Yeah. I don't think I can win here. That's the problem. Oh, my opponent gets to reanimate now, of course. Yeah, I guess I just died. I kind of lost track of the game there. I wonder if I could have done anything. The opponent did a good job drawing a gazillion cards, getting around my soft lock. What a game. That was awesome. Super awesome game. Just a super awesome match from start to finish, to be honest. Super worthy of a trophy match. I feel like casting that card is free. I draw some kind of answer here. Wow. Bowmaster. Huh. Is that good? I don't know. Opponent also has a full grip, so. Okay. So I get attacked. I'll play the Bowmaster. Easily sack the token. Yeah. That'll definitely do it. Sacrifice, discard. Opponent's at 17. They have the biggest board ever seen. They can -2 Liliana. What a match. Oof. That was beautiful. I can't remember the match in details now, and if I could have done anything, like, I could have played less conservatively earlier, but yeah, I think there was a turn where my plan was to Council's Judgment, wherever it is, under here, Council's Judgment. I could have Council's Judgment the bat earlier, which would have gotten me to Gideon before. And that's the only thing I can think about. But that was very hard at the time. I thought about it a few turns prior, but I didn't execute the second I could do it. I did it one turn later. It's interesting if that ended up costing me. Just great game from start to finish. Unlicensed Hearse, MVP, obviously would have been dead 15 turns ago, maybe not 15, maybe 12, if I didn't have that card. Managed to play reasonably well with my soft counters, reading my opponent's hand, how to play, develop threat, keep my walker alive. But yeah, that wasn't enough this time. We got beat by the quad power deck, so that's what happens. Yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and let's see if we can get a trophy next time. All right, see you guys there.